I'll ride with you till the wheels fall off.
You're bad. You ain't that bad, all right?
Open your mouth.
He'll splatter you brains out. I don't want that.
I do. I want that.
Hello, Bobby.
Hi. Hey, how's it going?
Hello. There you are.
Yo, you need more light in here? Should I put on more light or we're good?
No, you look good, man. Looks great.
Okay. All right.
How are you, man? Jeff in Las Vegas. Good to see you.
Yeah, man. Nice to see you too. Good to meet you over this Skype thing. It's a new thing now, so I'm getting used to it. But thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm in my truck. I just left the rehearsal for a play that I'm building here in LA, so I didn't have time to go home, so I just jumped in my truck real fast.
Oh, man, that'll work. That'll work. I appreciate you taking the time, man. I'm excited to talk to you about The Tax Collector, man. First, this movie is just an adrenaline rush, and at an hour and a half, man, I mean, this is one incredible ride. And for a young actor, when you read this script, I mean, you must have just been like, I got to have this role.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that came out of, it was like a birth. It was something that was created between myself, David, Shia, and everyone else included in the cast. So it really felt like it was an intimate story that I was able to just include myself in and tell some specific truth that David Ayers is trying to reach for, and hopefully, you know, it's shown through the film. And you know, I like to say it's a gangster's poetry. You know, it's like, you know, he's speaking. There's a lot of words in the film that are poetic. You know, and there's a lot of things that a gangster might want to say but never really gets to say.
So tell me about your first meeting with David. How did that go, and what was it like?
So I met David Ayer about 4 years ago. One day I walked into a dojo in Echo Park, and I met the sensei by the name of Alexander Mesquita, and he's running this dojo called RMMA off of Sunset and Echo Park Boulevard. And I just walked in about 4 years ago. I started training there. Never trained before in my life. It was American Kempo, karate, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, a whole mixture. And so I was there for about a year and a half. And then one day I met David Ayers, but I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was David Ayer. I thought he was just a regular guy. You know, we were sparring and exercising, and I was helping him, you know, train, and he was helping me train, and we became friends authentically. And then one day he just asked me what I did, you know, and this was like months after our relationship was already building. He asked me what my occupation was, and I told him I was an actor. And then I asked him what he did, and he told me he was a writer director. I didn't even know who he was. I was like, "What did you do?" And then, "What have you done?" And he's like, "You ever seen Training Day?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I wrote that one." "You ever seen The Watch?" I said, "Yeah, of course. Those are classics." And he's like, "Yeah, that one too." I was like, "Dang, he was my buddy. I didn't even know he was doing these things." It was, you know, pretty incredible to find that out. And, you know, so when we got together one day, he just called me up and he's like, "Hey, do you want to make a movie with me?" And I said, "Of course I want to make a movie with you." You know, David and I hit it off really early on because he grew up in West LA. I grew up in West LA. You know, he had a lot of similar background circumstances as I do and as I did in my life. And so we really hit it off. You know, him and I became really close friends. So when he called me that night, so if I asked me if I wanted to be in a movie with him, I said, of course I want to do something, because it was more than just taking a job with a director. It was more than that, because we had already had this authentic, genuine relationship. Even to this day we do. He's like a big brother to me. You know, he's a huge mentor, and he's a very wise person who's been in the industry for so long, you know. And so when he called me, it was like taking on a job with my family and my friends more than it was like taking on a job for a studio or some kind of big production. You know, the pressure was on because we want to make this work together and tell the same story, as opposed to like you have to make it work because you're casted and because like everyone's pressured, like, you know, studios and this and that. So it was really good that it was really an intimate kind of showcasing.
And that's a pretty cool tribute in the film, the whole jiu-jitsu scene. Your character is actually training for that. So there's a great deep meaning behind that scene, kind of a nod to you guys meeting.
Exactly. Yeah, he came full circle, came home, you know. I grew up in West LA, like I said, and so did David. So even when we met, it was like a full circle thing. It wasn't like I didn't know he was at this dojo. He didn't, we didn't know each other really. We had similar friends, but from different generations, and it's just, it's a wild thing that it kind of all of this kind of circled back around. Even like you said, in the dojo, that's David and Sensei have been friends for over 20 years.
Well, it's exciting for you. David has familia tattooed across his chest in the movie, and family seems to be a dominant theme in the film.
Yes, it is. It definitely is, because that's what I mean. It's a universal theme as well. Everyone would do anything for their family. It's a biological thing, as being, just a person walking this earth. Really, we're all biologically created to protect, to provide, and to love. And so it's a really big theme. Especially, like I said, all of us were intimate friends, and so even the movie itself created a family, from the people on set, like from the crew members to everyone in the cast. We were all really close knitted, even to this day, and so I even became really good friends with Shia, meeting him there, and he is my family now. And we've seen each other for the last 2.5 years every day. We've created a theater company in South Central Los Angeles, which has never been done before, because I grew up in South Central West LA, and around there's never been any programs for arts. This is how close him and I became. He's from Echo Park, and he understands the life around Los Angeles and how it is, a very tough business to break into, even to get involved with art, and so it's a place that is so in Hollywood. It's just 20 minutes south of Hollywood, and it has no art. There is no art classes, there's no dance classes, no music classes, no acting, there's nothing. As a kid myself, I was blessed, and my mother took me out of there and threw me into an acting class and kept me there repetitively throughout my youth. And I wanted to just come back and do that for my community. And Shai and I hit it off so closely that he understood that vision. He wanted the same thing. We had the similar dreams. And when the movie wrapped, we went back into our community that we've even filmed a couple of scenes in that neighborhood, and we went back to that exact same neighborhood. I grew up around 5 blocks down from that place, and we have this theater company the last 2 years, and David Ayer comes in all the time, and we get, notes from him, directions, and he's a part of our group as well. So we've taken this beyond just the movie. It's become something that we can take home every day for the rest of our lives, and look at, this project that we're working on today.
And Shia's chest tattoo he got for the movie has been all the rage on the internet. Did you support his effort to go so method with his character of Creeper?
There's a bad in connotation with the word method. That's something that it has. Everyone's got their own specific meaning, just like love. Everyone can love however they love and whichever way they love, and there's different languages to that. But I'm all for the artist. I'm all for the actor. I'm all for the story being pulled forward, and whatever is necessary and needs to be done will be done. And whatever Shia wants to do, and that's his thing, and I'm all for it. I love the guy. He's my family. I'm sure he'll be proud of me the same way I'm proud of him if I got my whole chest tatted. So it's an inspiration watching someone like that do it. You know what I mean? An actor do it. So I myself wanted to do it too after seeing that happen.
And I love to see, especially like comedians like George Lopez, go out of his comfort zone. He reminded me of Latino Paulie from Goodfellas. He seemed like he controlled and commanded every scene he was in.
Yeah. George Lopez is an icon, man, for the Latino, Hispanic, Latinx culture. For me personally, I had to put away my fan side and just like talk to him like he was really a relative, because I met him on the set for the first time. I didn't see him anytime other than that, and we really hit it off. He's a really good guy. I've been to his house a few times. He's a really he's got this dark side he can pull out of him. That's the beauty of being comedic, right? Is like you have to understand tragedy to actually play comedy, because it's funny when we laugh at people's tragic flaws or what have you, and he's a really good, comedian and stand-up comic, and then you put him into something dramatic. People usually think like, oh, it's going to be hard to jump into those realms, but honestly, I think it's even easier, because comedies are way harder, and he just showcases his talent on the film, and I actually want to see more of him building his characters or whatever else he's going to be doing throughout his life. Is it's going to be phenomenal, because this is only the beginning.
And Jose Canejo, one of the most terrifying performances. I mean, did it freak you out being on set? Because it came through the screen. You know, I have never seen anything that intense in my life.
Yeah, well, Conejo has a huge story of his personal life, and if you dug deep into that, you'll find out. But it's his story to tell. I will say this though, Conejo and I go way back. I mean, he also grew up in West LA. He has friends and family members that are close to me, and you know, he's like my big uncle. I love that guy. So it was really a tough thing, just because it was like watching him do his thing, and he's playing this antagonist with David's character, and so it was fun because we both got to be able to play with each other, even coming back from where like our relationship in the past, and then being able to see each other on a set. It just goes a long way, and it's a little harder to work with someone like that just because you love him too much, you know. And yeah, he's like my big teddy bear. He's a huge, beautiful guy.
That's awesome. There's a scene where you and Shia, you bump arms before you go breaking into a place. I mean, where did that come from? Was this something that was improv, or was that written, or?
You're the first person that caught that, man. You had a good eye. You had a good eye. That's a good eye. That's just that's beautiful that you caught it. Yeah.
It's something personal, but I mean, that just showed that your friendship that went beyond just the characters in the movie. That little bump in there. So that was pretty cool.
That's good you saw that.
I understand that you had your own private premiere at the Vineland Drive-In too.
Yes, we did. We had a, you know, it's full, talk about full circles. That's where I grew up. That's a drive-in I went to as a kid. You know, my whole life I went there, and to see that happening there is beautiful, especially in a time like now where the pandemic is isolating everyone, and you know, we're keeping our distance and everything, which is okay. So this drive-in experience actually gives you a way to be in a community space and to share this film with other people. And so I actually think it was the best place to come out in and to be premiered, because, you know, for me personally, intimately, it brings back a lot of memories. And at the same time, you know, I feel like this is a way that, of course, cinemas are closed, but people can come together, be in their cars and watch a movie and, you know, feel like, I don't know, normal again, I guess.
And finally today, Bobby, there's so much death and tragedy in The Tax Collector. Did you have difficulty approaching some of those scenes because they were so intense? Where did you go as yourself as an actor for those?
You know, David Ayer really sets it up where he lets you go wherever you need to go and do whatever you need to do, so you can find whatever you need to find for the performance. And you know, it's like a big ocean full of ideas and thoughts and what have you. And you know that you can trust someone that's always going to be there for you. And if the leader does that, the director, like David Ayer, like the way he did, you know, he's like, anywhere you feel you're lost, anywhere you feel like you're not making sense, you know, you just turn around and I'll be right there with you, you know. And so you have that comfort zone, you have that trust, you know. Also, you understand the severity of making a movie and the pressure and the love for it, and it's a lot of passion. So all of that included, I mean, there's so much on the line. There's just you know, it's a huge deal for David. It's a huge deal for myself, for Shia, and for the responsibility of the story that we're trying to tell. And so for acting stuff, it's really it depends on the way that the whole thing is running. You know, the functions of the set, of the process, of whatever needs to be done. So, you know, it's I guess it's in the rub, right? It's in there. So.
Well, Bobby, an incredible film, powerful. Thank you so much for talking to me today. Wish you best of luck, and it's available on video on demand now, The Tax Collector. And come out to Vegas, man. We'd love to have you sometime.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I used to go a lot as a kid.
We'll see you soon, okay?
Man.
All right, take care.